Hello, everyone. Welcome to Robotech World with your host Maverick LSC. And tonight, myself and Memo One Dominion and Lancer, we're gonna do a revised casting list of Lancer's previous podcast, that the previous episode where we discusses Lancer's choice for the live action, for the cast for the live action movie. We're redoing this mostly because that last show that we covered the casting for the live action movie didn't really turn out too well for the show. So we were still kind of working things out, all the kinks in terms of broadcasting a live show on YouTube. So tonight, everything seems to be working fine since the last two shows. So we're gonna see if we could do a complete list. And Lancer has a couple of surprises for us. He did some changes based on some things that he thought about, and he's saying, maybe we could add some here and there. So Lancer, welcome to the show, and Memo, welcome. Welcome. How are all you guys this evening?
What's up, protoculture addicts? How you all doing today? How you all doing tonight? Hope you're not disappointed or too happy with Game of Thrones. Thank you all for coming out. I'm doing well, Mav. How about yourself over there?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Just hopefully we don't get a snowstorm tonight. Kind of worried about it. It's like it's April and we're getting snow, possibly snow tonight. So it is what it is. I live in Canada. Hey, lumberjack, right? Hey. So,
Right.
so Memo, how are you doing out in your end of the woods?
Hey, doing fine. I just came back from LA, so I'm back in Fort Collins, kind of 1 hour or 45 minutes from Denver, north of Denver. So took a long drive. Just got home a couple hours ago, so I need to get my beat down, go to sleep. But let's see how long I can last. Just checking here on YouTube, passing the link around, making sure everybody gets the word that we are live. How's
Okay.
Canada, by the way?
Canada's doing fine. Everyone's kind of focused on watching the hockey game and the NHL seasons in playoff mode. And yeah, the Leafs are not doing so well against Boston, but hey, it is what it is, right? So um, anyway, I want to start off with going right ahead with the casting that Lancer has handpicked for for this show. And Lancer, I'm going to give you the full screen here and you could go ahead. I have the Macross. It's at the Macross fan casting page, the very first one. So, do you want to go ahead and start?
All right, let's do this, everybody. So we are starting this. There's two ways to go for this. First, this is a fan casting. I went on to Facebook to ask the fans what they thought of who should play what. And there are a couple of quick, what's the provisos, as you said. First, anybody who is currently in Marvel who is still under contract is not on this list. Sorry. So we're not going to see guys like Spider-Man on here. As much as he would play well in any of these characters, we're not going to see him in this. We're not going to see Scarlett Johansson, as much as we would love to, in this. So sorry, guys and gals. Chadwick Boseman, sorry. As much as he's a great actor, we're not going to see him. Anyone who is currently in a DC movie who's going to be blown up big. So sorry. No Aquaman in this. No Gal Gadot for any role as beautiful as she is. Sorry, everybody. But there are a couple of exceptions to the rule. I'll leave it at that. And then for this fan casting, there's two ways you can go. For Robotech to be successful, you can either go two ways when you're doing a comic book / anime movie. You can either go option one, which is have an ensemble cast. I call this the Game of Thrones approach. You have a couple of key actors in prominent roles that everyone knows the names of, like i.e. Sean Bean or Lena Headey. Everyone knew who they were before the show started. And of course, the whole thing of, well, it's Sean Bean, which means it's Sean Bean, so he's going to die. But you have that ensemble cast. Who the hell was Kit Harington before Game of Thrones came out? Now you know, hey, that's Jon Snow. That's awesome. So you can do the ensemble cast. You have quote unquote no-name actors and actresses who are just dang good actors, and they can hold their own, and they just mold and mesh as a group and make the story spectacular. So that's the first approach that you can do. Or you can go what we did and what I did with the fan casting, and that is the go big or go home approach, which I call the Dark Knight approach, where you put every big name actor you can possibly think of into every single role, because you don't care about the budget and you're just going to say, woohoo, let's do this thing. So that's what we did. We got every big name actor you could possibly think of for this roles, knowing full well that we are not going to get everybody. But you know what? It's fun. It's for the cast. And as a quick caveat before I start, everybody, we want your opinion on this. So if you like somebody for a specific role, when we get to him or her, chime in the chat room and let us know what you think. Give us positives and negatives and feedbacks. And Memo is going to tell everyone every so often. I would say Memo on every break, because I'll have like the first one is for the women. So once we get done with Claudia, then we'll take a break and you can tell me what the fandom is thinking and we can go on from there. Sound good?
Sounds good. We already got people over here lined up. So we're ready to go, Lancer.
Okay.
Great. All right.
Okay, so Lancer, we're going to start off with your choices for Woman of the RDF.
All right. So we got the women. These are the ladies. This is Min-Mei, Lisa, and Claudia. And we're going to start first off with, of course, the one and only Lynn Min-Mei. It's either you love her or you hate her. There's no in between. There really isn't. And there's some ways you can go with it. There's the first way you can go with getting an Asian actress. That's why I put up in there with the fandom. We put in Kimiko Glenn. If you are not familiar with her, she was in Orange is the New Black. And she was also the voice actress of the future Asian Spider-Man in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That was her voice that you heard.
Oh, I like that.
So that was that's our first one. If you want someone who knows how to sing, which I'm sorry, it's Lynn Min-Mei, you got to have someone who can sing, and someone who is young and personally I think is just smoking hot, is Haley Steinfeld. You probably remember her from Bumblebee. She was also in Pitch Perfect 2 and 3. That's where you got to hear her dulcet tones if you have not heard her singing voice. She is beautiful, and that would be my personal choice. So that would be the first two choices for Min-Mei. For a third choice, as a surprise, and yes, I know I said no people from the Marvel universe, but there's always exceptions. There is Zendaya, aka MJ, in the Spider-Man in Homecoming. So, or you guys who are into Disney fans and such, you know her from the Disney TV. You also know her from Greatest Showman on Earth. She was in that as well. And she's the right age because, I'm sorry, you guys, Min-Mei's not going to be a 15-year-old in this movie. Let's just get that said and done right now. My guess is that she's going to be a 19, 20-year-old, and then on the episode of quote-unquote Sweet 16, it'll probably be 21, where she's now legal. So they'll age her up a bit. So that's why these three women would work. So those are my first three choices. So you got two singers, and you have an Asian actress. So I'm eager to hear what the fans think on that one.
All right. Before you go to Lisa, here's a comment right here. It says by Greg Story, whoever plays Menmei has to be able to sing for real. No lip sync, please.
Oh, definitely. I wholeheartedly agree, Greg. Thank you very much for your input, because there's no way in hell I want somebody to pull a J-Lo in what she did in Selena and just basically lip sync through the whole movie. I want an actual actress who can sing. So, yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you. So, moving on, we got to Lisa Hayes. This is who I call the heroine of all of it. This is the woman who holds the glue together. She's your first officer of the SDF-1 and eventual love interest of Rick Hunter, of course. So I'm not saying no spoilers, because obviously everyone has seen the show. She has to be a strong woman, I believe, an actress who could hold her own with toe-to-toe with any male counterpart, and can basically, and, she's got to be good-looking, too. So my very first choice for Lisa would be Haley Atwell, a.k.a. Agent Carter. I'm sorry, guys. She can have her accent, and, yeah. Enough said. Just, yeah. And if you wanted to go American on that, then look no further than Supergirl, Melissa Benoist. And she can sing too, so I mean, that's pretty cool. It's a nice little bonus. But Melissa Benoist, she's got some acting chops on her. She doesn't have to be the woman of steel, and I think she can hold her own for playing Lisa Hayes. So depending on if you wanted to go a little bit more seasoned, actress in her 30s versus an actress in her late 20s, depends on how old you want to have Lisa, or what old she looks, I should say, because quite honestly, I don't think it matters for age for women. Any of those two women, I think, would do quite well for Lisa Hayes. So those are my two choices. Next, and finally, we have Claudia Grant, which is, I think, your moral compass. She's like your mother, I guess, I would say, of the crew. She's your confidant. She has your back and everything. And the first person I thought of was Kerry Washington. If you've ever watched the show Scandal on ABC, she can definitely hold her own. And she's got attitude. She's got spunk. She's got fire. She is a damn good actress. And I think she is the perfect choice, personally, for Claudia Grant. Any other African-American actress you can think of, Alfred Woodard. Shoot.
I'm looking at her, and I like her, too. I'm agreeing with the comments over here that, wow, that is spot on. I'm actually thinking, when I saw her, I'm like, wow. Yeah. That would be nice. I mean, she'll end up heartbroken, but
yeah, I'd give her a hug. So yes, Claudia Grant, Kerry Washington, beautiful.
Just curious, Lancer, I have a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
How old is Kerry Washington?
Honestly, I would have to say mid to late 30s. That's my guess.
Okay.
She just had a kid about less than 5 years ago.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to think in terms, because I always believe in pair-ups and matchups with the opposite actor that will probably have a relationship with the character Claudia. So
right.
All right.
Well, Claudia and Lisa were no strangers to the military. Remember, Claudia was in the military before Lisa.
Yes.
So her character is older than Lisa. I think in Robotech terms, if Lisa was 24, Claudia, I think, was 28-ish, plus or minus a couple of years. if my memory serves, in the RPG or in Art Book 1. So that's where, because Rick is 19. I know that.
Yeah.
Rick was 19 and Fokker was what, like 31, 32, Memo, something like that.
Yeah. Hey, Lancer, going back to Lisa, a suggestion of Amy Adams.
Ooh, okay. I can see that. I can see that as well. Yes, whoever said that.
And for Claudia Grant, Tessa Thompson.
Is that? I think it's
She's
Tessa.
Tessa Thompson. Yeah, Tessa Thompson. She's Valkyrie in Thor. I can see that too.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are two good choices as well. And they're both fine actors. So I am not holding that. And also fandom. I'm letting you know. Every choice, of course, these are the quote unquote beautiful people. But at the same time, these are actors. These are not people playing actors. So you're not going to see any boy band people on here that are just pretty boys, i.e. Anyone from Twilight. So you're going to actually see people with acting chops. Okay? All right, here we go. Now we're going to the next one. We're going to the women of the Zentradi. So we got the quote-unquote bad guys, or in this case, bad gals. So we start off with Azonia. And Azonia is tricky. You can go in a couple of different ways with Azonia. You can either go for the badass, who had the seasoned badass, I should say, who she can just kick your ass just by looking at you funny. And you could go either way. You can go young or seasoned actress. So 25 years ago, this would have been the perfect choice. Most people know her as a warrior princess, screaming her head off and running around with her leather skirt and holding a sword and went all over the place. And of course, most modern people know her they both were in Battlestar Galactica. Of course, I'm talking about Lucy Lawless. 25 years ago, she would have been the perfect choice for Azonia. And quite honestly, I think she still make a damn good Azonia even today. If you wanted to get someone who I think is about 10, 15 years younger, you go with Trisha Helfer. If you want someone tall, because let's face it, Zentradi are tall, and I think Trisha Helfer is like 5'11" or 6'1". She's some god-awful, crazy height, tall, giant of a woman. But she's also smoking hot. And Trisha Helfer can act. And yeah, if you watch BSG, she can hurt somebody. So those would be the first two choices. However, if you wanted to go a different route, who are women who have literally on screen kicked some serious ass, then you can either go with Ming-Na Wen, of course, aka Mulan, or if you guys have watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know her from that. Or if you wanted to go a little bit older, but at the same time is still a badass, and I bow to her, Michelle Yeoh. They're both incredible actresses, and I think would pull off Azonia quite well. And quite honestly, I would love for Robotech to be very multicultural, multi-ethnic.
Let me interrupt right here. Matt, can you put down the chat, because the chat is blocking the second picture of that the female character.
Oh, you want the? Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure, no problem. Let me do that right now. So just the Zoom, right? You want the? Oh, I see. You want the chat blocked.
I'm looking at this is how it looks.
Okay, how's that?
Oh, it's still up. Oh, there you go. Yep. Good. Perfect. Okay. Perfect.
So we don't want the chat window up for now, right?
No, because we can see it.
Okay.
When we're in the window.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. So there's Michelle Yeoh, and then if you want to go back one, You could show the picture of Trisha Helfer again.
Okay, hold on here.
You just want to go back one slide.
There you go. You see it?
Now you see it.
Yes. So there's Trisha Helfer right there, gentlemen and ladies. So there's Trisha Helfer, and then going one forward, you have Ming-Na Wen and Michelle Yeoh. And as I said before, having a multi-ethnic cast is a good idea, in my opinion, because Robotech introduced a lot of people to a lot of different things. You had interracial dating, you had people dying, you had serious relationships, paternal, fraternal, maternal. It was truly a show that broke a lot of boundaries, and I think that the live action movie should reflect that, which is why we have such a multicultural cast. So those are my 2 cents on that. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. I like that pick, Ming-Na Wen. I'm looking at her. I'm like, wow, she could really throw some feisty looks right there.
And her facial expressions in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah, those would be good. For our next Zentradi is, of course, Miria Corina, the one who is definitely going to kick Max's ass, or at least try to, twice. Well, actually, if you want to get technical, thrice, and lost all 3. Honestly, you're going to see a trend here. The first choice, I think, is Chloe Bennett. Those of you who watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. again, there's Quake. And Chloe Bennett can hold her own, and I think she's actually a pretty decent actress, and she's not easy on the eyes. If you wanted to go a little bit older, then you go Katie Sackhoff. Yes, Starbuck. I think Starbuck playing Miria would be kind of nice too. I wouldn't mind that at all. And I know that the fans would probably have a couple of other suggestions for Miria, and I look forward to hearing from you guys on that, because you can go 1,000,001 different ways in Miria. I mean, you could get someone who was, in her 20s, early 20s to play this role. You can get someone who is in her early 40s to play this role and still, doing well. So, and all points in between. So, Mav or Memo, what you guys got?
For Miria? Yeah, go ahead, Memo.
I'm looking at for Starbuck, Kate. What has she been doing lately?
She's been doing a lot of voice acting work, actually.
Yeah, because what do you call it? This will work nicely if you go into maybe the 3 movie setting. To put them in 3 movies probably down the line for Macross side.
Yeah,
a lot of these key players would actually fit into these roles. Considering age, I'm thinking, all right, if they're going to do 3 movies, which I think they are going to probably do, how much down the line, is the movie going to come out every 2 years, every 3 years? I'm thinking kind of like Star Wars is coming out, or one right after the other. I would like to see that they last through the whole, through the whole saga.
Oh, I agree. Macross needs to be a trilogy. Let's just put that out there right now. And I'm sure that we will do another video of what would we want in a live action movie. Not that I'm dropping hints or anything there, Mav.
No. Not at all.
But this is definitely for a trilogy setting. And a fandom, if you don't like a pick, just don't say you don't like a pick. You better back it up and tell me qualify your remark and tell me who you think would fit in there. Remember, you're a part of this show. So give us some feedback. Don't be a troll. Just be the
I think they should also pick you for helping them with casting, because I believe right now Barbara Muschetti and what do you call it? And Sony and Harmony Gold. Well, not much Harmony Gold, but Sony are going through this casting, you know. And
hey, Sony, if you're watching, you know, this is from the fandom. This is just not my brain. This is from people online giving their suggestions. And these are the top suggestions from these people. So, you know, we are paying attention, Sony. All right, here we go. Next up, we got the Robotech characters you love to hate. And I put hate in strong letters. And of course, that's Lynn, Kyle, and Chiron. And this is going to be fun because everyone hates Lynn, Kyle. So you got to have somebody who can just play a jerk, just play an a-hole.
Hey, Lancer, quick question. Question for you. Who do you hate more, Lynn, Kyle, or Chiron?
Actually,
Lynn Kyle. That's hard, eh?
Lynn Kyle's a punk. Chiron's a G. I'm not going to lie. Chiron is probably the most human of Zentradi, of the Zentradi. And Lynn Kyle, you know, excuse my French, he's just a little bitch. I'm sorry. I hate that fool. So you got to have somebody who could play that guy like that. And people just, dude, I hate you. But, man, you did it so well. And since this is Game of Thrones weekend, this is your Joffrey. This is the guy who you just want to see die. And everyone cheered when Joffrey finally got his choked and died. Yes, spoiler warning. Sorry, Joffrey died, everybody. So that's why I picked Adam Devine as my Lynn Kyle, because in every role I have ever seen this guy in, I wanted to just bitch slap him across the face. And that's no disrespect to Adam Devine if you're watching or listening to this. That just goes to show how much of a great actor you are. Because as a person, you are probably the biggest sweetheart in the world. And I will have a drink with you. But when you take roles, man, I want to just fist punch you in the face. And that's why Lynn Kyle is the perfect role for you. So there you go, man. That's just props to you, man. Just take it and go. But for Chiron, however,
I'll throw mine in there. Adam Driver as well from the new Star Wars.
Adam Driver for Lynn Kyle?
Anyone? Lynn Kyle, yeah, why not?
I always thought of Adam Driver as Fredericks for the Southern Cross. Because he's got that very thin, skinny, kind of like the hawkish nose.
I would like to see Adam Driver as Zor. I think he would be a good Zor because of his voice.
I can see that.
Trez!
Welcome, Trez.
Oh, man, when did he come on the board?
All right. Had to roll back and update.
You just are stealth, buddy. All right. So next we have what I think is probably the best character of the Robotech Macross saga, and that's Chiron the Backstabber. That's the man who just didn't give two shits about the chain of command and just wants to kill the Micronians. And the first guy that came to mind was Jason Isaacs. I mean, that man is, from his voice to his acting chops. I mean, and I'm not talking about how he played in Discovery, not his role there. I'm talking about Malfoy in Harry Potter. I'm talking about his role as the colonel in The Patriot. I'm talking about some of the villain roles that he has played. Jason Isaacs, if you wanted an older Chiron, I think would just be beautiful to play this role. I mean, I could see him punching the console saying, I hate to lose a fight, but just doing it in that British accent, it just makes you just, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that. And I'm sorry, you wouldn't want to turn your back on him because I think he'd stab you. And that's what Jason Isaacs, I think, can bring to the table. So,
hey, was Jason Isaacs the one that was in that Air Force One movie with Harrison Ford?
no, that was actually he's coming up, Mav,
Yeah.
as one of my choices, so I won't give that away.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That was a different actor. But
Yes.
no, Jason Isaacs was in, now that you're mentioning it, was in a different movie that was similar to that.
Yeah, I recall. I don't have it. I don't have my thumb on that right now. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, go ahead.
Now,
Sorry. I don't
for my second choice for Kaiwan, if you wanted to go younger, and yes, you're seeing a theme here, Iwan Riyadh. Iwan, if I'm mispronouncing your name, I'm sorry. He played Bolton, Ramsay Bolton, in Game of Thrones. He was just a little sniveling little weasel in that show, and it was just beautiful how he played it. How he played Ramsay Bolton, and I thought to myself, you know what? This guy would make a good Chiron because you would just hate this guy and you just can't wait to see him lose, And he would whine about it because Chiron is a little bit of a whiner, and Rion can play that quite well. So, yes, sir.
Who's that? I'm not into the Game of Thrones. I never watched it. But that female character with a blonde hair, could she be a good Miria?
Emilia Clarke. I would not be upset with her playing Miria.
I mean, I see her a lot. I see her in a lot of commercials, the way she acts, and I look and I'm thinking when you brought up the Game of Thrones, I'm thinking of that long blonde hairish girl, and I'm like, you know what? She's very cold looking.
I'm not mad at Emilia Clarke. Now,
She had some action scenes in the Solo movie.
yes, she
So
did.
she has some stuff under her belt.
Here's my only concern. She's 5'0".
Yeah.
She's
She's perfect fighter pilot build.
yes.
but wait a minute. Hold on. If she's
Max was small.
if she's short like that, then if we have a Max Sterling who's going to be kind of like the nerdy geeky guy, then who's an ace pilot, then you just need a kind of like a nerdy geeky kind of actor that kind of attracts the warrior that gets beaten. So she, it might work out.
There you go.
They probably should both be kind of short and awkward to fit the part.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt that she's easy on the eyes either.
Yeah.
Now, for the last choice for Chiron. Now, this is a different one. For those of you who have ever watched the show Sherlock, you have Moriarty, Mr. Andrew Scott. Oh, my goodness. I've seen this man now in Sherlock. If you've watched that series, his portrayal of Moriarty is something that stuns you and shocks you. And this is if you want a Chiron who is a scary Chiron. And not scary as in, oh dear Jesus, here comes Jason scary, but a scary as in, I think this guy's going to murder me in my sleep. and Andrew Scott is that type of person who can play the backstabber, I believe. And when I put this choice out on the fandom, those who watched Sherlock did agree with me on this. And so, Andrew Scott, I think, is a nice happy medium in the age between Isaacs and Rion. And I could see him just taking Chiron to a scary level that we as fans haven't seen in the anime. So that would be my dark horse choice for Chiron.
Because we got to remember that what's his name, Chiron and Azonia kind of worked behind Breetie, correct? As in trying to undermine him.
Oh, yeah. Well, he does his Chiron does his thing, but that's not
Yeah, that's his own thing.
yeah, but that's not till after Force of Arms when
But
Chiron.
I could see him playing a role earlier on than later on, you know, as the way he is.
Well, I think in terms of the villains, because it's going to be hopefully a trilogy of just for the Macross saga. I think they're going to have to bring all the major characters early on in the first movie. So I think in that when you see the Zentradi arrive, Chiron's already there, Azonia is already there, and then all the branches start occurring because you got to pretty much have everything set in that first movie, so you could develop it later and add maybe one or two characters per movie. But the focus should be an ensemble villain type cast and an ensemble, the good guys, and see how their relationships and their intricities interact before going into the second movie, and then including the newer characters that evolve as the story progresses.
Oh, for the record, I agree with you on this map, and that would be a great next show idea for this one because it's a go big or go home type of thing. The whole meshing with the ensemble and chemistry and stuff like that. I know damn well that some of these actors and actresses that are being chosen up on here may not have the chemistry right, and I appreciate that. Which is why in The Dark Knight, there's just I'm sorry, what's her name, Gyllenhaal and
Jake Gyllenhaal, not Jake Gyllenhaal.
His sister.
I know who you're talking about. The sister, yeah.
Yeah. When she played the second incarnation of Dawes, Rachel Dawes, and I just didn't like it. It just didn't work for me because the chemistry was off. So, but they went big, and I guess, yeah, okay, whatever. What's the fandom think there, Memo?
That was Paul Mack was the last one who said anything. So that was way back with Lucy Lawless. So not much going on the chat.
All right, cool. Here we go. So now we got the big bads for the Zentradi. You got Dolza, you have Breetie, and Exodor. So we start with the big dog, Supreme Commander Dolza. Now, this actor needs to basically have a presence, a charisma, a machismo, if you will, just the don't F with me type of personality, and has the gravitas to keep command of one of the largest fighting forces ever conceived by a civilization. Now, 25 years ago, my first choice was Michael Clarke Duncan. God rest his soul. This man was like 6'4", 6'5", had the build and the voice that I think that Dolza needed. Unfortunately, we lost him too soon.
Michael Clarke Duncan had the perfect voice because when he speaks, he kind of sounds like naturally sounded like Emperor Palpatine.
Stop.
He did.
Why did you say Palpatine? It's Palpatine.
Palpatine, sorry. But when Michael Clarke Duncan, when he did speak, he sounded like Palpatine, where he goes, either go rise, and he'll and that's his natural voice,
Yes. So, but since we can't, turn back time because we don't have the time stone, we have to go with the land of the living. That's why the next choice would be Vincent D'Onofrio, our Kingpin. And, if you start to see a theme, both of these actors did play Kingpin, one on the big screen, the other one in Netflix. And Vincent D'Onofrio has played a lot of different roles that can be scary. Vincent D'Onofrio has some great range. And him playing Dolza, especially in this picture with him bald, Vincent D'Onofrio could be kind of scary. I'm not sure if he can change his voice but he has that intimidation factor that I like. So that would be my first living choice that we put out to the fandom. Now, this next choice is new. And once again, I know the theme is there, but you know what? Quite honestly, fans, Game of Thrones gave us a lot of great actors. And this next one, Charles Dance, aka Tywin Lannister. Oh my goodness. Charles Dance, every time he was in a scene in Game of Thrones, he stole the scene from me. I was scared of Tywin Lannister. Charles Dance's voice is phenomenal. His look in that show was phenomenal. Now put him in that cloak as a Zentradi. Imagine him being 60 feet tall with that similar demeanor as Tywin and with that voice, that British accent, just commanding forces, bring me the Micronians and anything else he has to say. And you don't know about protoculture and whatever else that he can say. Oh my goodness. Charles Dance could definitely, I would put money in for him to play this role. I would just shut up and take my money and he could play this role. So those would be my three choices that the fandoms and myself have come up with for Dolza. I hope you guys agree out there.
Dude, they are agreeing. I'm agreeing too. I'm like, you know what? I really like this just by the look of him already.
It's scary, isn't it?
It looks more menacing compared to your other pick.
It's eerie, isn't it?
I mean, he needs to bring the terror. When he has the humans right there on the table, and he's in that commanding voice, he's not afraid of them, and like the others in Zentradi are afraid of the humans interacting, kissing, and all that. Right. I think he would be more controlling of himself.
Oh yeah, he can pull it off. For this next one, Breetie. Now, I am a little bit biased on this, and this is my personal opinion. Other people can doubt me, and I'm not going to be an internet punk and say your opinion is wrong. But in this case, fandom, yes, you're wrong. Sorry. Breetie. Breetie is a black man, people. Look at him. The man is gray in the picture. He's black. He's a black alien. And he has an afro. Look at it. He has a fro. So 25 years ago, he would have been Avery Brooks. And before you freak out, yes, there's a reason why I put him up. I put Captain Sisko's picture on the screen because Avery Brooks, he went raw in season 4 of DS9, aka he shaved his head, he grew his goatee, and he brought the Defiant out for the very first time, and them cannons were firing, and Avery Brooks just went all badass for the last 4 seasons of DS9. I squeaked like a little girl because that was, yeah! And 25 years ago, that would have been Breetie. That would have been my only choice. Drop the mic, and I'm out. However, that was 25 years ago. And today, I think that a guy that can do the exact same thing, but can keep his hair if he wanted to, just Elba. And that man, you know what can I say about this man as an actor? I mean, take out the Marvel roles. Just put in every other role you've ever seen Idris Elba in. I'm sorry. When you are considered for 007, that's how much of a badass you are. When you could be the very first black 007. That's how much of a G, how much of an actor you can be to pull off that role. So that's why Idris Elba would be a great Breetie. That's my argument, and I'm sticking with it. What's the fandom thing?
Well,
no fandom?
I'm trying to read the comments here, but I don't see any real reaction.
No, there's no comment. Sorry,
I'm black. What?
Yeah.
Okay, Redma, that was good. Thank you for my laugh for the night.
I do have a choice. I do have a
How
choice
do you?
for Breetie.
Yeah, I was like, how do I say that? You know. Thank you. Took that one, Lancer.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking that one.
Memo. Do you have any suggestions for who you would like to play the role for Breetie? Which actor?
There's so many out there that you could really go left and right. It could be black. It could be British. It could be, open. So Idris Elba, yeah, I could see that. But this dude is gonna go one-on-one with a mech.
Yeah.
So I could even see The Rock doing this part.
That's
seriously,
true.
The Rock.
I mean, it's gonna be like a 3-minute fight match, I think, possibly more, just to see Breetie and Max go at it. Who was there?
The Rock can't be in every movie, Memo.
Well, no. I know, but what do you call it? It would be nice to see. You know what? He tried to be in the last movie, but they had to save him for
Shazam.
What is it? Adam?
Yeah,
they're going to start filming next year.
Yeah.
Black Adam.
Yeah.
And
sorry, fandom.
I think he'll find his way into this production. I actually believe he'll find a way into this production. I don't think nothing goes around him without knowing. They're probably already throwing a script at him or whatever, and he's like, you know what? Let me produce it. He's always trying to produce every single project out there. Where he puts in his 2 cents, his writing skills in it. So,
well, quite honestly, that's where
you're gonna probably find. What was that?
That's where the money is. Is it?
Yeah.
So.
And I think The Rock, if he gets a role, he'll be like, all right, I'm getting the role, but let me produce on it as well, which I'm gonna write on it. I think that's why he went wild with Shazam. He went on Twitter or what was it? Not Twitter, the other one.
Instagram,
where he just went crazy about this is what I did. This is what I did. I'm like, really? He did this? Well, he's kind of the producer of it, so I guess he did do it. But being part of Robotech, I think he's going to try to put a lot of influence in there. I mean, it could happen. But if he would come in, I would see him as Breetie. That's probably the only thing I could see him as.
I have a suggestion for Breetie. My choices are Josh Brolin, because I believe he's going to be done with this Infinity War arc after this next movie. So I think he could be available to do Breetie. As well, I have another actor named David Harbour, who plays the sheriff on the Netflix original series Stranger Things.
Yes.
And he's doing also the Hellboy movie that's in theaters right now as well. So David Harbour
as Breetie?
As Breetie, yes.
Huh.
David Harbour and Josh Brolin, just because they kind of have they're good actors, especially David Harbour. David Harbour is a very underrated actor, and he's just I don't know if he's doing well in terms of his transition to the big screen with the Hellboy movie, but I think he'd be amazing as either Breetie or even Captain Global.
I'm silent because I'm trying to think. There is a better role for him, and I want to say either Rand. Or I want to say possibly Korg for the new generation. It's where I could see David Harbour being.
Well, he plays the sheriff, right? In Stranger Things.
Yes. I'm looking at his picture right now, and those would be my first 2 thoughts on it. I'm not poo-pooing the idea. I'm just from his voice, his demeanor, from what I've seen in Stranger Things. I would see him more as either a Rand type or a Korg type, either being that antagonist or being that country bumpkin, good old boy, who I could see him riding on a cyclone and just being a fool, because he had that type of demeanor sometimes in Stranger Things. So, like I said, I'm not poo-pooing the idea. I think there's a better role, a better fit for him for it. So that's my 2 cents. So I agree and I disagree with you on that.
No problem. And let's carry on with the cast.
Exodore, ladies and gentlemen. Exodore, there is only one choice. I win and I own the internet with this choice. I drop the mic on this. Peter Dinklage, the end. Boom. I'm going home. Just boom. Peter Dinklage.
You know what? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I want Tyrion as my Exor. I want that entire persona. I just look at Peter Dinklage as a director. I just look at him and say, dude, play Tyrion Lannister, and he's Exodore. The only difference is you won't get to drink, but you do know things. And just let him go. And having him play...
He would steal the show. He would be totally funny. I could see him actually being funny, trying to figure out the humans.
Dude, I want him to sing, stage fright, go away. Oh my God, that would be pure comedy. So, honestly, I don't think there's any other choice. I mean, I'm sure people will come up with other choices, and that's fine, and that's cool, and that's great. Thank you, Paul Mack.
Yeah, I could actually see a lot of jokes coming out of that one from him. He fits a perfect role. I don't see him being any.
Oh, when he played the dwarf in Infinity War, he was already having jokes in the outtakes. He's all, I have to pretend that I'm looking down at people because I'm a giant. But in real life. All right. So moving on, as we say. You got the SDF-1 crew, people. This is Captain Global. This is Dr. Lang and the Bridge Bunnies. Now, you guys might think, well, the Bridge Bunnies, why would you put those in there, Lancer? Well, Bridge Bunnies, Vanessa, Kim, and Sammy, yes, they're cute. They're adorable. Some people think they are the heart and soul of the SDF-1 crew. And you know what? You are absolutely right. But for this go big and go home, or go big or go home fan casting, you know what? Insert hot girls here. I don't care who plays those 3 chicas. They are eye candy. You can count on your fingers and toes how many lines they have, and it's done. Just find some Hollywood wannabe actress who was getting her first shot, stick her in a chair, and that's Vanessa, and that's Sammy, and that's Kim. Done.
Well, they can't be smoking hot because there's no smoking on the bridge.
Touche, Trez, touche. Now back to real life. Here we go. Dr. Emil Lang. Now, Dr. Lang, the man who basically unraveled the secrets of robotechnology, I think you can go one of 2 ways. You can go the nutty professor or the absent-minded professor, or the mad genius type who you think they're all gonna die, but somehow he pulls it out of his ass and everyone lives. So for the first option, you got Brent Spiner. Yes, Beta from Star Trek to TNG. So if you saw, this is a picture from him in Independence Day. I mean, when I saw Independence Day, I immediately thought Dr. Lang. I really did. And Brent Spiner is a great actor. He really is. And I think he is probably one of the most underutilized actors in Hollywood. I mean, I know he's done other things in theater and stuff like that, but I think someone with Brent Spiner's range really needs to do other things. And Dr. Lang, he can either take Dr. Lang as a comic relief type or the serious type. And he could play all ranges in between. However, if you wanted to go the nostalgic route and just, be somebody who fans would go, you know what, that's awesome that he's playing this role, then you got to get Flynn. Jeff Bridges. Flynn lives, people. And of course, if you have no clue what I'm talking about, you're too young. Jeff Bridges, people. Or if you're not too young, how about this? The dude abides. If you don't get that reference, you need to just go home. I'm sorry, you guys. Jeff Bridges could also pull off Emil Lang. He could take it in any direction Jeff Bridges can take it because it's Jeff Bridges. And Jeff Bridges can do what Jeff Bridges does.
You know what? I actually agree with that because he could be very funny around those young girls, hot young girls.
You know what? If there was an American version of Dragon Ball, he would be Master Roshi in a heartbeat. Well, anywho,
he'd be my pick for Dolza, actually, after his Obadiah Stane performance.
Ooh, yeah.
He rocks the bald pate, and he has the voice and the size to pull it off.
You know what, Trez? That's a damn good suggestion, kid. I would have to agree with you on that. If he brought that portrayal to Dolza, I would not be upset with that. Now we got the captain. The man, the myth, the legend, Captain Henry Global, and the voice actor, Greg, why am I blanking on his name, Mav?
Snagoff?
No. You just said his name, Mav, like 2 days ago.
For what? The Captain Global?
Yeah, the voice actor.
Oh, not Greg
Finley.
Greg Finley, yeah.
Greg Finley. I had the good pleasure of sitting next to him at the RT25 dinner. And he's a great guy. And he's just a wonderful individual. Now, on the big screen, for any...
You mentioned Greg, but you don't mention me sitting there right next to you. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you know what? It's not about you, though, Trez. Okay.
Some things are about me.
Okay, fine. Captain Global, just like any good captain role, you need to have the leader, a man that you would go to battle with and would literally die for. Captain Picard had it. Marco Ramius had it. And what a great segue, because 30 years ago, Sean Connery. And anytime you say Sean Connery, you have to have the voice. You have to imitate Sean Connery, because I am the last one. Bond, James Bond. Sean Connery is Captain Global 30 years ago. That was horrible. I'm sorry. I didn't rehearse. 30 years ago, Sean Connery was Captain Global. And when I said this at Robocon 10, and yes, that's how far back I go, people. I am a Gen 1 Robotech fan. At Robocon 10, I stood up, and my very first question was, when are they going to have a live-action movie and Sean Connery playing Captain Global? And literally, the entire place went nuts. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm the shit, because I just made a great suggestion, and everyone loved it. However...
When was Red October?
Red October was 92. No, scratch that. 91. 90 or 90.
Because if he played well as he did with on Red October, he would be a good captain like that.
1990.
Thank you. See? 90.
Yeah, the only problem is the technology at the time would have been like Robojocks.
Stop.
Sorry.
You know what? I will reach through the internet, Mav.
But hey, let's be realistic. 95, Robocon 10, Robojocks? Yeah, it would have been like that. Would have been a bunch of guys in suits playing mechs.
As long as Godzilla didn't show up, okay. Now, fast forward to about 10 to 15 years ago. The perfect choice for Global, which some people would argue and I would not be mad at, would be Edward James Olmos. That, of course, Captain Lee Adama. And you know what? I would not be mad at that choice. Honestly, in my opinion, it was played out because I like the Admiral, and I will call him the Admiral because in BSG, he's the Admiral. There's only one captain. There's only one Commander Adama, and that's the late, great Warren Green. I'm sorry. So the Admiral, if you will, he's a good actor. I met him once. He's a cool guy. So I would not be upset with him being Global. Now, one of our prominent Robotech fans came up with Gary Oldman, and that was who you were thinking of, Mav. Who was
at one point, yes. Yeah.
Gary Oldman can play any role that Gary Oldman can play. He's up there with the whole Jeff Bridges type. He can just give him a role, and he can do it.
I'm pretty sure Oldman, D'Onofrio, and Bridges could play the Bridge Bunnies if we let them. They'd pull it off. I'd throw in a more modern example of David Strathairn. He plays Commander Ashford on The Expanse.
Oh, man.
What was the last?
He rocks an accent, and he's kind of tall and lanky, so I think he'd be a good fit for the role.
I know who you're talking about. The one that was
the OPA commander
on the station when they went.
Station.
Yes, when they went in to see the ring, whatchamacallit,
You put a thick
alien
mustache on that man and make him run around like he's lost sleep and like surviving on coffee, and he's like Glowball perfect.
Yeah, he already has the accent down pat too with that with the OPA.
Somebody suggested in chat Bryan Cranston.
Cranston could do it.
I would not be mad at that either.
That's already caught that one.
And someone also put in, and Rama, once again, if you play role-playing games, I'd give you 5 experience points just because. Chuck Norris.
I didn't say that one. I was like, Chuck Norris, yeah. Well,
Chuck Norris is playing the main cannon on the SDF-1.
Yeah. He is the main gun, right? He just fired Chuck Norris.
Well, I do have an actor that's available to play the role. He only has a contract for 1 season on this particular sci-fi series, and it's from Star Trek Discovery. He plays Captain Pike, Anson Mount, to play as Captain Global. Yes, and he's going to be available because he only has a contract for 1 season on Star Trek Discovery.
Huh. And he's also younger too. Yes.
Yeah, he's not as old, but he's not as young either.
They had to kind of age him up for the show.
But you put him with like a little bit of a white beard and mustache, he'd be like he'd roughly be the same age as Global, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
That could work.
Very cool. Coming up next for our next choice of Go Big or Go Home, Alfred Molina. Now, this is one of those picks that it's just, Alfred Molina is just too damn good of an actor not to have a role in a big role in a movie, and take away his Spider-Man role. Alfred Molina's been in a lot of movies over time. I bet the trivia people, what movie starring Harrison Ford was Alfred Molina in?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Did you type that into Google?
No. I didn't. I wasn't the one typing. I already knew because he's the guy who got killed trying to steal that little thing, and he got killed with the spikes, I believe.
Excellent.
Yeah.
2 points for Mav. So yes, Alfred Molina.
A young
That
Alfred
was a
Molina.
young Alfred
No,
Molina.
very young. He looked like he was barely in his like maybe mid-20s.
I know. I saw that. I'm like, that's Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, they did a good a tan job on him because he was supposed to look I think like more native to the area with that dark tan. So yeah,
Very cool.
it was
Now,
cool.
if you want to get an actor who has played many leadership roles, and I'm sorry, I'm personally in love with his voice. You know, and I'm man enough to say that his voice is just buttery. That's Ian McShane. Ian McShane playing Global. Yeah, I'd follow this man. That man is a damn good actor. I know he's doing Deadwood. Is that what it is? That's the show. That's on HBO. So I don't know how long that season or contract is going to be good for, but Ian McShane, I would not mind following in the battle. And of course, this last one is a man who many people have followed in the battle, and you could also call him Mr. President a couple of times. Bruce Greenwood. Bruce Greenwood is also, I think, one of those. Most of his later roles have been leadership type roles. I mean, in National Treasure, he played the president. In Star Trek, he was Captain, then Admiral Pike.
In the movies.
Yes, in the movies. The J.J. Abrams incarnations. In other roles, he's played either some sort of captain or commander type roles or presidential type roles. He even played JFK.
He was also the voice of Batman in one of the Warner Brothers DC animated.
Actually, in many of the Batman,
yes,
also many of the DC, the Doom series.
Yeah,
he played Batman. So Bruce Greenwood is an accomplished actor. So I would not be upset if he played Global on that one. Anybody in the fandom also come up with, yes, we also know Chuck Norris. Yes, we know. Anyone else a memo that people come up with?
Throw out Sean Bean because it's a role he's qualified to play.
And he's going to die. Yep, you're right. He's
going to die. He's qualified.
Yes, Sean Bean can be thrown into this mix. Yes. Memo, what else we got?
Ian McShane?
Ian McShane?
Yeah.
What about him?
For Global?
Uh-huh. Oh, they like that? They like that choice?
Yeah, it was picked by Paul Mack. He's in the chat.
Cool.
I got one out of left field. What would y'all think about Rory McCann playing Global?
Rory McCann. Why do I know?
He plays the Hound on Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Big dude, deep voice, throw a stash on him, and a captain's hat.
I put him as Dolza.
He could do Dolza too, but
that dude's scary enough to play Dolza.
Either one, I think he'd be an interesting kind of left field choice.
He
certainly has the presence to play most of the principal villains.
I'm not sure if he's captain material, however. That's just going off of what I've seen in Game of Thrones. Now, I haven't seen any of his other work. So, and if I have seen it, then I missed it. Because I'm looking at his movies that he has been in, and I've seen some of them, but I don't remember his work in it. So, I would not know. I'm loving these chat. You guys in chat are killing me. You guys are funny. All right, now we're in the home stretch, people. Here we go. Skull Squadron. This is what you call the Final Four. You got Fokker, Ben Dixon, Max Sterling, and of course our hero, Rick Hunter. So first we start off with Ben Dixon, the man you want to just have a beer with and, it's your comic relief. And, you know, it's Ben. What can I say? So the two guys that would be perfect for Ben Dixon would either be Seth Rogen, because that laugh kills me, and he already has the look for it. And, you know, if he toked up in one, like, you know, scene and just like put it out instead of trying to eat a steak, I would die of laughter and I'd just fall over. The other choice would be Dan Fogler. If you ever saw Fanboys, saw that movie, it's pure comedy. Go see it. Don't see Balls of Fury. I mean, if you want a drunk movie night, go see that movie. But if you want to see a good Dan Fogler work, then go see Fanboys. We're not going to talk about the prequel trilogy of Harry Potter that they're trying to do, and Dan Fogler's in it. I mean, he does a good job in that movie, don't get me wrong. But
about the only good thing in that movie.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's why these two gentlemen, I think, would be a nice comic relief. And you would be sad to see him die, but at the same time, you wouldn't be bummed about it, which is sad and true at the same time. Now, Max Sterling. Max, to me, is probably the most difficult one to cast, because you got to find a guy who looks like a nerd, but at the same time is a badass. And that just doesn't happen in real life. You can't be a badass and be a nerd. I mean, you can be a nerd who is cool, I guess, with a question mark, because he invented something. You know, just see Steve Jobs, or, what's the other dude? Microsoft.
Bill Gates.
Thank you. You know, they're like cool, question mark, I guess, but they're not badasses, you know. So, you know, the first choice in that thing is Stephen Yeun. Now, I honestly have to say I haven't seen his work, but the fandom love this guy. So if you know of Stephen Yeun's work, you know, please comment it on the chats, because personally, I don't know much of it. But if you guys know his work, then I will yield to the floor on this and just say, cool, good on you.
Well, the only one I know from him is, it was pretty good, was he was very nerdy, but very spontaneous on his action. But that was in The Walking Dead.
Oh, see, that's why I never watched Walking Dead. So, not.
I think that's I think the first time I saw him, I says, "Oh, I like this guy." You know, the way he was very spontaneous, creative, and at the same time, everybody would pick on him as well. So, but I could see him being Max.
Okay, there you go. Now, the next choice for Max, if you have watched the CBS television show, not the old version, but the new version of MacGyver, then you know this actor, Lucas Till. And Lucas Till in MacGyver, he actually makes MacGyver freaking cool. Now, of course, you know, 30 years ago, that was, of course, Richard Dean Anderson. And Richard Dean Anderson played MacGyver. He was a badass. Of course, that same actor went on to go play in SG-1, Stargate SG-1. And Richard Dean Anderson was still a badass. But Lucas Till in this new incarnation of MacGyver does a really good job. And I can personally see him with the blue hair, rocking it. Now, if they didn't go the total blue hair, I could understand it. But if they gave him like a blue streak in his hair somewhere, personally, yeah, I can live with that, because no one runs around with blue hair.
Well, coloring your hair these days is actually a thing now. So a lot of people are starting to do it. So, like the purple hair thing with the girls with the women is actually starting to happen. The purple hair.
And with the women, that's one thing, but with the guys, I would rather see a streak. You know, like a cool streak, how they would do it and have it with blue hair.
Like pay an homage by streaking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, or have blue glasses. that he wears, blue tinted glasses or something like that.
Yeah.
Just enough that the fandom could be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, instead of the hardcore nerd, there's always going to be that one guy. Hey man, why don't you have all blue hair? There's always going to be that one, and I'm talking to you out there, fandom. If you're that one guy who's just going to bitch and moan and groan about Max Sterling not having complete blue hair, we're just going to drop kick you to the moon, dude. So don't be that guy.
While on the subject of blue, I'd nominate an actor that has a history with color, Mr. Nicholas Hoult.
Ah, yes.
The Beast.
Yes. I would not mind that. You know what? Thinking about it,
He's got the right kind of physical frame. He's taller than he probably needs to be, but he can pull it off.
Yeah, I can see that. And he pulled off nerd pretty well. He can do nerd talk.
Yeah.
As he did in X-Men. So, if you guys don't know Nicholas Hoult, you guys, he was Beast in X-Men, the new versions. So, as in first class version.
Young Beast, not Kelsey Grammer.
Correct. Very good. All right, now.
On the subject of people that could play Dolza, Kelsey Grammer.
You know what? I would probably want to drop kick him, though. I love Kelsey Grammer as an actor, but I would drop kick him.
Yeah.
Now, for this next one, there's many ways you can go. And that's, of course, our hero, Roy Fokker. And for all of the men in the fandom, don't lie. You cried when this man died. Because every time I see Farewell Big Brother, it still, to this day, brings a tear to my eye. And when I met the voice actor, and Memo, give me the name. I'm blanking on the name now. Of the voice actor.
Of Roy Fokker?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm blanking on his name. But when I met the voice actor and I told him this for the first time, he laughed and he just said, thank you.
Dan Warren, right?
Dan Warren, yes, thank you. Dan Warren, yes, because when I told Dan this, and Dan just said, yeah, thank you. And we had a nice chuckle after that, because Dan Warren, he's a nice guy. And he's a Charger fan.
All right, let me see if you picked the guy from the Marvel Universe.
All right.
Let's
so
see.
The first guy I chose was Josh Duhamel. If you don't know his work on television, he was in the show Las Vegas. Great show. If you know him on the big screen, he was on Transformers, the first one, and then after that, we don't talk about the other Transformer movies, but we just don't. I'm sorry, but that would be the first choice. Now, Roy Fokker needs to be a heartthrob, in my opinion. He also needs to be a guy who could play a mentor to Rick Hunter. So that's why these choices are the way they are. So Josh Duhamel would be the first choice. I think women would be smitten with the guy, and at the same time would bawl their eyes out when he dies. Sorry, spoiler alert, Roy Fokker dies.
Well, hold on, Lancer. Remember, this is a reboot. This is a reboot. So anything goes.
Oh, that's true. Roy Fokker may not die.
Yes.
Now, I would be that guy, and I would yell and scream, saying, "Foker's supposed to die, you bitches!" And I would be that guy. I would. That would be me. Now, the next one, I think fans all across the world would agree with me on this. Now, they would also tell me that it's 10 years too late. I would agree with you, but he's still a fun actor, and I like him. That's Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion playing Roy Fokker. He just has that swagger about him, and he still does. And if you've seen him in the show The Rookie, that's on right now, he still has it. I mean, when he played Castle, he had it. When he played the captain in Firefly, he had it then too, which is what this picture is from. You know,
He also had it in Warner DC animated feature Green Lantern First Flight. That was him
yes,
voice acting.
yes,
That was
yes.
that was still considered the best Green Lantern adaptation
It's
for
still pretty sad when an animated movie does better than the actual live action movie.
It's
yes.
okay. Deadpool fixed that. It didn't happen.
Right. So that's why Nathan Fillion, I think, would bring in fans just for the name. It's like, oh yeah, there's the captain from Firefly, yay! Now my third choice, yes, this does bring in the MCU, but at the same time, his contract is up, people.
Yes.
That's Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. Yes,
Chris
I was thinking the
Evans,
same
Chris
thing.
Evans as Fokker. I mean, just watch his performance as Captain America, people.
Now, is this confirmed that he's officially done with
His contract is done. When he went on Twitter and he said, "This is I just finished my role, my last scene as Captain America," bye or something like that. I don't follow Twitter, but it was something along the lines of paraphrasing. Yeah, he's done. His contract is done.
So his contract is up, basically, correct?
Yes.
This is why they say he dies, correct?
No, well, it doesn't mean that he dies. It just means his contract is up. So,
but it's still an option for renewal, correct? If depending on
no, it's done. But I'm sure that
he's not going to play Captain America until they throw a whole lot of zeros at him.
Well, yeah. Basically, if they want the big three, Evans, Hemsworth, or Stark,
Downey
RDJ.
Jr.
Yeah, RDJ. Yeah. If they want any of those guys, I think quite honestly, it needs to be an 8-figure number, and it needs to be a very middling to high 8-figure number to bring them back, because that's just how popular those three guys are. But that's getting off topic. And anywho, yeah, Chris Evans as Fokker would bring in the modern fans into Robotech, because the little kids would be like, "Oh, right, I want to see Captain America. Oh, he's playing this guy. Cool." And then, of course, just break their hearts when he dies. I'm sorry. Now,
he'll be in a fighter jet all day long, just shooting up a storm.
Yes, and I could see him paired up with Kerry Washington quite well, because Chris Evans just has that presence that with whichever female lead he's with, they just mesh pretty well. And I think that's just a tribute to his acting chops.
Chris Evans also kind of looks like he's a little closer to Kerry Washington's age, too. Like, they kind of look like they could be similar in age. So that looks like a good pair up, age-wise.
And I think I just realized that I misspelled his name. That's my bad. I just noticed that right now. For the last choice is someone that I mentioned before, and yes, you see a theme, people, and his contract is up too. Kit Harington, I think, would be a long shot, but you know what, the King of the North, I could see him as a younger version of Roy Fokker, because Kit Harington, when he started on Game of Thrones, I think he said he was 20, so that makes him now 30, and that's about the right age for Fokker. And, he could grow his hair back, because he cut his hair recently. But, I mean, he could grow his hair back, and like in this picture, have that little beard rocking on it, And I wouldn't mind seeing Kit Harington play Roy Fokker. I think that would be pretty fun, because then you can ride the momentum of Game of Thrones. You're bringing that audience, which is an instant like 50 million people, who are watching Game of Thrones this weekend. And then you have him play a titular role in Robotech, playing, Roy Fokker. And you already saw what the fandom did in Game of Thrones when he died the first time as Jon Snow. Dear God, what do you think they're going to do when they see him die as Roy Fokker? I can just see it now. You know nothing, Roy Fokker. What's the fandom thinking on this one? Yeah, okay, I'm reading some of the comments there, Memo. This is interesting.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I could find anything on Chris Evans' Instagram account about that.
Lucas Till looks like Roy Fokker. Interesting.
On Twitter, right?
Some people have said that, Ranma. I've seen people who said that. And yes, Paul, everybody was crying. Good, thank you for agreeing me on that one. And yes, I am going to be that guy if Roy Fokker doesn't die.
You're like, you wouldn't walk out the theater, Doc.
Okay, this is why. Okay, Ranma, don't get ahead of myself for Rick Hunter. And I will come back on that comment in just a second as to why I am or am not making that choice for Rick Hunter. So here we go. Last but not least, you got your hero, people. The man, the myth, the legend, and quite personally, my second favorite character in the Robotech series, and that's Rick Hunter. Now, Rick Hunter, like I said, he's your hero. That is your boy wonder. That is the face. You're a hero. You're a protagonist. And it's the one his hero arc reminds me of Luke Skywalker, a guy who goes into a war unwillingly, ends up being a hero. And, Luke didn't get the girl, but the difference is that they both grew through their saga. And in this case, Rick grew. He was a cocky little kid in the beginning, went through training, went through the ranks, went through his trials, and he came out on the other end as a hero. And that's Rick Hunter. And 25, 30 years ago, the perfect person would have been River Phoenix. That was your Rick Hunter, people. And you know what? God rest his soul. I mean, if this was done back in 1995 with your movie that we dare not speak of, I wouldn't have minded River Phoenix playing that role. Fast forward to modern times, you have now. First, you can go a little bit older, and I mean older as in late 20s, early 30s. You got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's a great actor, people. He is a great actor. And he still has that boyish look. I mean, this is a more modern picture, but he still has that boyish look. I mean, even in Dark Knight Rises, he still looked pretty young, even though they tried to make him a little bit more hard when he played Blake. But he's a good actor. Now, for you Hunger Game fans, Josh Hutcherson, PETA. Yes, I said it, PETA. And before you start ripping me from the internet, people, I'll qualify my remark. In the entire Hunger Games series, actually, Josh Hutcherson was probably the best actor in the whole thing. No offense to J-Law.
I can see that.
There were other actors in that movie?
Yeah, one of them died, and they actually had to use a CG for the third picture for him.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, that's
I'm
okay.
sure I missed a lot.
You really didn't. But Josh Hutcherson is probably one of the best things that came out of that movie. And that's me saying this, and I don't read, little girl books. But yeah, Josh Hutcherson could pull off Rick Hunter. Now, my personal choice, my choice would be Logan Lerner. If you don't know of him, that is Percy Jackson. If you've ever watched any of those films. And
yeah,
you know what? He still has the look for Rick Hunter. If you want to go somebody who is a little bit lesser known but had his starring role recently in Ready Player One, and he's also playing Cyclops in this final incarnation of X-Men movies, and I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to see it. And that's Ty Sheridan. I mean, honestly, in Ready Player One, he showed me something. He has a little bit of acting chops to him. and I can see him maybe trying to pull off a Rick Hunter. Now, someone in the chat rooms mentioned Tom Holland. Now, I guess Ranma missed my beginning caveat. Reason Tom Holland. First, I'll say this: Tom Holland would make an excellent Rick Hunter. Yes, he would. Unfortunately, he's Spider-Man, so he's automatically disqualified because he's going to be Spider-Man for the next arc that we're going to see. And I'm sorry, that next arc is going to be Secret Wars. I don't care what anyone says. If Marvel is smart, they're going to do Secret Wars as their next arc. And Spider-Man is the central role for that because Spider-Man is going to be taking over as the RDJ role. I mean, they keep saying it's going to be Captain Marvel, but let's face it, if they do Captain Marvel, then that means they're going the mutant route. Because when Captain Marvel loses her powers to Rogue, oh man, a lot of people in the fandom are going to cry. But anywho, that's a different fandom. But yeah, that's why I did not choose Tom Holland, Ranma, because he's going to be Spider-Man for the next 10 years, and there's no way in hell they're going to take him out of that contract to do some other particular tentpole role like Robotech has the potential to be.
Or until Disney buys Sony.
Exactly. Yeah, that could be, that is very true. Tobey Maguire like Captain Global. Okay, Ranma, now you need to put down that drink, dude. You need to put down the Hennessy, and you just put it down, homie. Put it down. Because Tobey Maguire is not coming into this one. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Toby, but
well, wasn't there Leonardo DiCaprio was kind of interested in working in this movie as well at some point?
Yeah, he was.
With Toby.
And
with
Toby.
Yeah.
And personally, I would have loved to see DiCaprio as Chiron for me. That would have been awesome because if you remember in Django Unchained, when he played that plantation owner.
Yes, he was bad. He was evil.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
And, playing Chiron would have been epic. So that would have been my personal choice for him because I couldn't see him playing Rick Hunter. I couldn't see him playing the Captain Global or pretty much any other role except maybe possibly Lynn Kyle, just so I can hate on him. Just so I can hate on him.
Or even let him grow his hair long like he did in, was it The Bear? And become Korg.
Oh, you mean Revenant?
Yeah, Revenant, yeah.
Yeah, I would not be upset at that either.
Or the Robotech Master.
Fandom, that's my choices for if you went go big or go home for the Robotech live action. I hope you guys enjoy it. And I hope if you guys, like I said, thank you for all of your suggestions. Keep writing in the comments about your suggestions of what you guys think for this. But before we close off, I want to just say that for me personally, and what Mav has said also, and we are in total agreement, that we think, and I think, that this movie should be an ensemble cast. This needs to be a group of people who don't have, maybe like Game of Thrones. You haven't heard of most of these actors, but for me personally, you got to go big on Global. You got to go big on Breetie. You got to go big on one of the female roles, either Lisa or Minmay or both. And just go, I would say Lisa, probably go big with. And then with Dolza, have that just be some dude in the background you never. It was like a dark figure, like that man with the cigarette in
X-Files.
Yes, thank you. X-Files.
Cancer Man.
You don't.
Cancer Man.
Yeah, who you don't see until the end, And then when you finally see him, the big reveal, you're like, oh, that's Dawson, yeah.
And he has cancer.
But it needs to be an ensemble cast. So Rick, Minmay, Max, Ben, they need to be an ensemble. And you need to see them grow over 3 movies. And then, you have to have that one big name actor to hold it all together, and that's global. You need to have that one strong female presence in either Lisa or Claudia to hold it together. And on the alien side, you need to have that strong either Chiron or Breetie. That is that, like in the first movie, it's got to be Breetie, and he's got to just hold it through the whole 3. But then in that second movie, that's when you bring in Chiron, and you can bring in someone big on that one, and then be like, everyone go, oh snap, they brought him as Chiron? Yes! That's it. That's what I want to see. And just go crazy on it.
Hey, Lancer, I wanna actually use this opportunity before we close the show to see if we could get some more suggestions from the fans. So if anyone on chat has any ideas, just go ahead and start posting up as many ideas you have for whatever actor or actress to play a particular role. And while you're coming up with names, Memo, do you have any particular actor or actress to play any role for the live action adaptation?
I'm just thinking Chris Evans, and hopefully he does come in for Roy. And for Global, that it's always been what's his name?
Edward
from
James
Galactica.
Olmos. Edward James Olmos, right?
Almost.
Yeah. You even mentioned that even
that's
before.
That's about those 2. Anybody else?
Yeah, you mentioned that name even before he even took on the role as Commander Adama. Because I remember you mentioned that.
I think he was. Yeah, and then when he went into Galactic, I'm like, dang it.
Yeah, you've had that one pinned for a long time.
Let's see what happens.
And Trez, do you have any suggestions for any roles for any actor or actress to play any particular role?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think in general, besides the Gloval and the Dolza, you should probably make the cast younger. Sophia Botella as Miria is a good one.
Ooh, I like that.
I mean, she was in what was that hotel something movie? She was really, really good in that. She does lots of physical stuff, so she's perfect for that role.
She was also in the Mummy remake.
That's not a plus in her column, but
but people might know her from that movie.
Another Rick Hunter option is Taron Egerton from The Kingsman, or Ansel Elgort. He was in Baby Driver for Rick Hunter.
Trez, why were you quiet all this time?
I didn't want to step on no toes, man.
No, but now we have the forum open up, but we could actually discuss like our own choices. I don't think we're gonna keep this podcast going for too much longer because Memo and I have to go to bed soon. So
work early in the morning.
Yeah, but if you guys want to drop off, we can still continue with the podcast until if you want to drop off,
or continue next weekend, or make room for any suggestions that popped up.
Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much have like a huge list, but I'll keep it quick. For Bridge Bunnies, I have Joy Lynn King, Shannon Purser.
Okay.
Sorry?
I said, okay, Joy King, yeah.
Yeah, and Shannon Purser from Stranger Things, and Allison Hannigan from Buffy to play as Bridge Bunnies.
Dude, if she says that this one time at the bridge camp, I'm gonna fall out. So
yeah, okay. For Lisa Hayes, I have Halston Sage, who plays Alara on the Orville. Fox's The Orville. Alara.
Is that the same woman who is also playing in Legends of Tomorrow?
Well, you know what? I could start posting.
She's the one that opens all the difficult pickle jars.
Hold on.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
She was in the Goosebumps movie.
How has you not seen the Orville? It is so good.
I know, Trez. I'm sorry. I only have so much RAM in my brain. Okay.
So I'm,
Okay.
I'm, I'm
And I'll
posting
be signing off, guys.
I'm posting images right here. See if there's that's the actress right there. So that's what's her name?
Oh, okay.
Elsa Sage.
She does a really good job with Vulnerable
Yeah, there was
on
that
the
one.
Orville.
Yes, and I think she would be ideal as a Lisa Hayes type of character.
But she can't be hotter than Lin May, though.
Well,
I
you know,
don't think that's going to be a problem.
okay, so another actress I have here. Let's see. I got I already mentioned Anson Mount, who plays Captain Pike on Star Trek Discovery as Captain Global. I have David Harbour as Breetie. I also have Camilla Bell to play as Miria. She's 32 years old now, so she's still young enough to play a pretty young-looking and strong Miria. Are you familiar with Camilla Bell?
I am not. I'm looking at her picture right now, though.
Okay, let me type here.
I have not seen any of these movies that you were talking about.
Okay. So
She's cute.
yeah, she did I think 20,000 AD. I think she also did the movie was it
10,000 BC.
Yeah, 10,000 BC, correct. And I think she did Wanted. I wanted an actress that kind of had that same kind of look like Wonder Woman, where she's kind of exotic looking. So kind of, kind of attract you because of the eyes are piercing, but still kind of look young and fit. And yeah, she's got in some of the roles that she plays, she plays very exotic looking, and you throw some makeup on her and she looks stunning, so something like that, because I keep thinking that there's going to be that point where Max is going to see Miria all dressed up out of her warrior role and with makeup on, and she looks stunning, like, and she has to steal the floor when she's transformed from her warrior self to the supermodel that Miria probably is. Now for
Look
that,
up,
sorry.
I was going to say on that note, yeah, look up Sophia Botella from Hotel Artemis.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do
Jaw
that
will
right
hit the
now.
floor.
Sophia, was it Botello?
Sophia Botella.
Butella. Okay, I see it.
She
Boutella.
was also in the newest version of Star Trek, the last one, Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Oh yeah. She has that exotic look. Actually, I keep thinking that Miria has to be exotic looking because
I wouldn't mind her. She does know how to fight. So
yeah, she looks good. She could play the role. Because like I always think Miria has to be fit, but also athletic, because she is a warrior. She's got to be trained. So there's got to be
That's
like,
true of pretty much all of these characters, though.
yeah,
They're
true.
all military.
Now for the role of
Except Rick, oddly enough.
well, for Rick Hunter, actually, there's a character, there's an actor I want to play as Rick Hunter called Noah Centineo. He's not too famous unless you watch teen movies on Netflix. He's on a couple of Netflix movies, and it's all like he plays the nerdy guy, he plays the cool guy. He could play, and he's young. He's still relatively young. So I have pictures of him. He could play different roles, but I look at Noah Centineo as like a possible because of how Rick has the weird kind of hair. Noah Centineo fills up, like, has that kind of look to him with the floppy hair, and he's very I guess he's kind of like one of those teen heartthrobs right now for someone who's not an A-list actor, but could be an A-list actor because he's kind of underrated. He can act, and he does a lot of like movies involving himself being the love interest, or being the cool guy, or being the nerdy guy. So he could do all the roles. I've seen him in a couple of movies because I did my research to find like an unknown actor, because when I look at Robotech, it has to be kind of like the next Star Wars, where you get a bunch of unknown actors and it's designed as an ensemble. So if the movie does well, then all these actors will become, like kind of like the mainstream word of mouth. Everyone knows them because of Robotech, not because of like some other movie. You know.
And we could throw in Christian Nairn for Ben.
Oh, Christian.
Nairn Kristian.
Nar. Naren. Okay.
K.
Oh, Christian Naren.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nair.
Nairn. Christian with a K.
Oh, Christian with a K. Sorry.
Corridor.
Yeah, he's got to hold back the explosion so Max and Britt can get away.
You're funny.
Okay, let's
You're
see.
funny.
Spoiler alert.
You're funny. You are funny.
Oh, this guy.
You need to put down that Henny over there, Trez. Someone in the fandom put in Taisa Farmiga for Miria. I was looking at her pictures. I am not familiar with her work, fandom. So you have to school me on some of her work for Miria.
Is it for FOR?
Oh, it's TAISSA and Farmiga, FARMIGA.
Okay, I got it right here. Tasia.
There you go, first one right there.
I gotta jump out, so I got a early start in the morning, so I'll let you guys go. All right.
All right, Memo.
Okay, Memo. No problem. We'll catch up for the next show. Okay, no problem. Thanks for showing up, Memo, and
later.
Have a good night. Okay, no problem. Have a good one.
All right. Good. All right. Bye bye.
I'm not familiar with this actor's chops, so you have to school me on that one.
She actually had a role with Noah Centino in one of the movies on Netflix. So
okay.
So she's been on there. I think she's been in a movie with him. So
okay.
So it might work out. You know, if you have like actors that have worked with themselves and other.
She does the voice of Raven in Teen Titans. Nifty.
Does she?
Yep.
Really? Oh, and Paul, yes, you are correct. That Christian thing, that was a joke. I don't think Trez was serious about that.
Trez was totally serious. Let me set the record straight.
Trez, put the drink down.
Okay, so is there any other names that the fans could suggest? Like, we want to hear what your choices are before we close up shop here.
I'm looking at it. I'm seeing Joaquin Phoenix as the original Zor. That would be an interesting choice. I like Joaquin Phoenix's work. Only if he changes his name back to Leaf.
Actually, I could see Joaquin. Well, wait. Okay, here's a suggestion. Would you consider that the Robotech Masters are nothing more than just the older versions of the clone of Zor?
Yeah, that is an interesting hypothesis.
Yeah, so why don't we have something like Robotech Masters being all played by Joaquin Phoenix as an actor, yeah, by Joaquin Phoenix, because Joaquin Phoenix, I bet you he would love to act against himself in a like three versions of himself. You know how he interacts. He could probably pull that off and be funny yet scary. You know, and then a young version of himself would be somebody like Cillian Murphy from who played Scarecrow in The Dark Knight, I believe.
Cillian Murphy, I would not mind playing
Chiron. Yeah, he's getting on in years though. He is getting on in years because he would have been ideal like 10 years ago.
But his look is still the same though. Yes,
it is still the same. But see, the thing is, I always looked at Chiron as being kind of young. So it would have been fine 10 years ago.
One of the persons in the fandom, Dis George, put in Mary Mauser as Minmay. I know who you're talking about. I looked up her picture. She's in the Cobra Kai series on YouTube. She plays Daniel LaRusso's daughter. Now, here's my only one question, Dis George. Can she sing? So, if you can answer me that.
There's Mary Mauser.
So, if you can answer me that, sure, she could play Minmay because she's cute as a button. Oh, I hope so. We already said we don't want someone lip syncing on this. We want someone who can actually sing. So, I mean,
I'm gonna add my suggestion for Azonia. I have Lizzie Kaplan to play
really,
as Azonia. Yes,
really,
yeah, she was in. Well, she kind
yeah.
of with the short hair and those eyes, I could see the Azonia, but still somewhat like an attractive looking. You know, to go to be
I've never seen her in a serious role though. I've always seen her in a
Cloverfield.
fun. Which one?
Cloverfield. She was in the
No,
Clover.
we said serious role here.
Yeah, we
Okay.
don't talk about that movie where the whole movie is just them running, saying, "I'm so startled."
Well, she did a TV series that she plays. She actually got a Gemini nomination, or was it like
What
a or an Emmy?
that HBO series?
The
What
one
is it?
the one that's like something about sex. Or
Yeah, the HBO series. I think it is.
yeah, she was pretty good in that. So yeah, I look at her as being a Zonia. I always liked her as an actress. It just like I kind of look at like because I don't want like a lady that just is like super attractive. I don't want the whole cast to be super attractive. I kind of want the cast to be kind of balanced out so that way it's really about the acting and not necessarily the looks because you can make anyone look attractive, but you want really is to have the natural flow and the pace of the movie to be dictated by how the actors work amongst themselves in telling the story. So I'm looking for not a super stunning supermodel. I'm looking for
Hey,
someone who's
On
attractive,
on
but on
that
a
on that note, if we're looking at aspects other than looks, I got an out there choice for Roy Fokker. We need charisma, and we need someone extremely immediately likable. If he slimmed down a little bit, what would you say to Jason Momoa?
he's
uh
automatically disqualified.
as Roy Fokker.
That DC stuff, that's not going to last. We all know that.
Oh,
It's
we
just
got a
going to be the
Marvel
it's going to
fan
be the
here.
Shazam extended universe.
You know what? I could see it actually.
Yeah, like he is
Let
he
me
is
let me
so
click.
charismatic.
Let me click on one photo that I could see him as being a Roy Fokker. Let's just give him the blonde streaks.
That fourth one from the left, right there, that's a
Okay,
good one.
okay. Let me go back because that like I was looking at this one, fourth one from the left. Yeah, we could be here all day, all night
Yes,
talking about
we
this.
could.
Yeah.
Right
Uh,
there, dead center.
yeah.
Put blonde hair on him
Yeah.
and flight goggles and a helmet.
Yeah, that's true. It probably would work.
He's got the chin and he's got the charisma. That's a good Roy Fokker, and it's like straight out of left field.
He's
Yeah, that's true.
Aquaman.
Yeah, I think after Aquaman, I think is going to be too expensive because I think we need to populate the movie with B-list actors and actresses for the most part because I want to keep the budget within a reasonable level so that way if it ends up being a one-hit
Oh,
wonder
this
like
is
sorry.
enjoyed by the fandom. Lauren Cohen for Azonia.
Well,
Okay.
Lauren Cohen.
Okay, she's on Walking Dead. And she's on that new ABC show, Whiskey Cavalier.
Let's see.
I think she's pretty cute.
Oh yeah, I could see her. Yeah. Yeah, this photo right here sells it to me right here.
And she's a Game of Thrones fan too.
Yeah, that would work.
Oh, what
Oh,
are you laughing at?
I also have for Azonia, I do have one. I'm gonna what's their name?
You got your list.
No, this is someone new from what's her name? She played Man of Steel villain.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Ajante
I know who you're talking about.
oh,
She played something L.
yeah, in the Man of Steel. She was the
Yeah,
woman.
Gabrielle.
yeah,
Oh,
something Laura L or something like that. Something she plays in that.
oh, I'm trying to remember her name.
It's right there. You kept every time you get rid of the name, it's right there in Bing. Put the first name back in. Now go to that right there.
It's
That's
Auntie
one.
Traue, who plays
Yeah,
Feora Ul.
yeah, Farrah Ul. Yeah, Farrah Ul. Yeah, yeah.
So what's her name? Frau?
Put in Feora.
Her actual name is ANTJETRAUE.
Say it again slowly so I could type it.
Alpha Nancy Tango J, whatever that is, Echo,
Echo Trau. Okay.
and then Travis Ranger Alpha Uniform Echo.
Ooh.
Yeah, I always looked at that. I look at her as also being like a Zonia, but like she has two sides to her, where she has the like she kind of looks like like the evil attractiveness girl, like an evil looking woman, but still attractive looking because of her eyes are piercing. I don't know. I just liked her in the Man of Steel. I thought she was stunning.
She's definitely got the smolder down.
Yeah.
We got someone in the fandom asking about when are we going to start talking about plot twists and plot discussion. I think that the story about Robotech and how we would do the movie, I think that should be our next show idea. What do you think, Mav?
So
That's what the fans are asking
they
for.
want to talk about plots.
Yes, and how we would do the movie. I think that would be a good next show idea.
Okay, well we could do that. Let's what do the fans in the chat say? Because I think we could speculate on what's coming up with the live action movie, but we'll also have to tie in with the fact that this is also going to be a reboot, and at the same time there may be a tie-in from the rebooted comics. It could be retcon, and the comics are probably going to say something. So I'm wondering, should we discuss about this now? Because supposedly something is coming up on Free Comic Book Day that's going to discuss about all these different continuities in Robotech and how it may or may not relate with the upcoming live action movie.
We could, but quite honestly, I think we should call it a night.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to tie the current comics into the live action movie.
Okay.
They'll want to do something different, like they did with Prelude.
Okay. Okay, so why don't we just close the show now then? And I just want to say to all the fans out there who've been following us on chat and watching the stream live, thank you for showing up. This was a very amazing episode tonight that we have with talking about. We got a lot of ideas from everyone on board, including those that participated on the chat. Thank you for giving us ideas on castings. And mind you, this is purely fan based, so this is nothing concrete, but it's always kind of interesting to see what the fans are thinking in regards to who they think is the ideal dream actor to play a certain role. So Blanchard, thank you so much for sharing us that presentation on your choices that you made on casting choices for the movie. Thank you very much for that. I also like to thank Memo, who's already left us. He's got a early morning to go in terms of going back to work. And Trez, thank you for showing up on our show tonight. Thank you very much, everyone that's been watching this, and myself and everyone here on Robotech World. I would like to say thanks for watching, and please subscribe, give us a like, and if you really like this show, spread the word to your friends and other fans that you around the internet, interwebs, and just let us know if you like it. Keep following us. We got more stuff coming sometime soon. Not sure if we're gonna do a show next week because the next week is gonna be the Easter long weekend, but we got a show coming up for sure. So we'll come back and see you. So thanks for watching us. Ciao. See you guys.